Lee Payne, finally, Cloven Hoof's classic album from '88, Dominator, is available on CD. I'd say that was about time.
I think you're absolutely right. It's long overdue, isn't it, really? We just needed the right timing because I needed to get all the rights back and then to make sure that the fans can own it again, and because it's been such a shame because the fans have been paying way over the odds for the album, and to make it totally available again, it's magnificent, and the response to everything has just been incredible. So it's a big honour for them to for ourselves and for the fans, to be able to experience Dominator again. It feels quite fresh again, I think.
So did you have the master tapes yourself, or was it a long process to get hold of them?
Yeah, well, it was quite a long drawn out period of time, really. I managed to buy back Sultan's Ransom as well, so I acquired both of them. Get all the artwork and get all the tapes and any videos and everything, the whole package. So I bought them all back because I thought I owed it to the fans and everyone to make sure that it's going to be available all the time now. But everything works out really well at the end of the day.
The album was recorded in '87. What was it like being Cloven Hoof back then?
Wow, was it real that time ago? Yeah, it was fabulous. The band. There's such a tremendous sense of camaraderie, and everybody was young and excited, and it had such a fantastic morale. The band. We used to have a lot of good times together out on the road, and there were just nothing but sort of happy times. Really, we all really gelled as people, and we had a great time.
You obviously had a name before this album was released, but this was a brand new lineup and, of course, a new album. Was it like a new start for the band?
Yeah, it was in many ways, because after the first album was out on Neat, Russ was already a big fan of Cloven Hoof, and he was in a band called Tradiga, which is the ex-band members of Budgie. They were a really good band, and but Andy Wood went to join us on guitar, and when we were after a singer, he went, "I've got the perfect singer for you," and it turned out to be Russ. And when Russ turned up at the auditions, he knew all the Cloven Hoof songs, so it was great. Russ was a bit. I think he listened to the Radio 1 session that we did for them, which featured quite a few tracks from the first album, and then he went out and bought the first album. And he just completely blew us away, like when we heard his voice, and we kind of knew we'd hit the ground running then.
You wrote all the songs yourself. Were all the songs ready when you went into the studio to record everything?
Yeah, that's right. Basically our work, I kind of demo it, or everything up at home. The sort of the guitars and bass, and with a rough drum machine that is, and kind of sing it. And then give everybody the tapes, and everyone sort of lives with it and then sort of interprets their way, like when we went in the studio. For Dominator, we worked with a producer called Guy Bidermead, and he worked with Motorhead and Cozy Pearl and Whitesnake. So he had quite a big sort of a good CV there, so we thought he'd do a good job for us, and he came down to some of the rehearsals, and he had to listen to everything was going, and we kind of just took out bits which we thought wouldn't work, and the ones that did, and it turned out really well. The only thing is, I think at the end of the day, when it went to mastering, it kind of lost a lot when they went to the mastering, really. But all the songs are there, and it's kind of a classic Hoof album, and I'm really pleased that it's out again.
How do you write the songs? I mean, do you play the guitar? I mean, in the band you play the bass.
Yeah, well, that's it. I kind of started off when I first started playing. I was a guitarist first, anyway. But I just love what a bass does. It controls the power and the tension of the band, and it really drives forward. And then I kind of switched to bass. I think that's why I've got a kind of a lead style on the bass. I think. But in terms of, I always listen. I've always been really influenced by science fiction and horror and legends and things like that, and obviously comic books and films. And it's all kind of sort of amalgamates into storylines. I see each song as a story, really. And it's really been my sort of style all the time. I start off with maybe some lyrics, and I build a melody line, and then I put the music on to suit it, because I think music should reflect the songs, and it's not just a collection of sort of obvious sort of riffs, which a lot of bands are like. And some people have said we kind of think a man's metal, and that's quite a nice compliment.
Yeah, definitely. Did you get to tour enough back then to back up the album? Was it?
Oh yeah, we were touring all the time. We didn't do so many in Europe, but I think we must have played every gig in England. I think it was all we were all in the same sort of tour bus and everything, and we just played all over England, sort of back-to-back dates. We were never home really, and it was a really nice experience. And because we got on so well, the whole thing was kind of sort of a magical period for all of us. I feel.
There are 8 really strong tracks on this album. 8 tracks in total. Which tracks are your favorites? I mean, I guess you play.
For different reasons. One track that always I always loved playing, and that was Nova Battlestar. It's just one of those songs that everybody really sort of locks in well with, and we used to do it at all the sound checks and stuff, because we all used to really love that song. Everybody really locked into that song well. And obviously the big anthem really is Reach for the Sky as well. It's wonderful when we play that live, all the fans join in and sing along, and it's a tremendous sort of anthem really for us. I really love those 2 songs.
I guess you still have to play them live for your old fans.
Yeah, I think they'd lynch us if we didn't play Reach for the Sky, to be quite honest. But that's lovely. I mean, and people cover the songs from their album, so it's a big honour. But it's nice to touch people's lives really, and some songs. It's kind of weird way some songs seem to last the test of time more than others, but I don't get tired of Reach for the Sky. I think it takes on a new life of its own when we play it live.
So another good thing is that Sultan's Ransom is about to be released as well.
That should be about December. We're looking forward to that one as well. Sort of going over those 2 albums. There's so many records really on there which we're always going to have to play live, and everybody asks for it. Obviously, on Sultan's Ransom, the big one for me on that one was Mistress of the Forest. That song always goes down well, and we always get asked for Astral Rider and Highlander a lot as well. But it's wonderful. Those 2 albums really fit together well, and you can see just how the band was progressing really up to Sultan's Ransom. I think a lot of people consider that to be one of our best releases as well, don't they?
Definitely, it's another strong album. So now you're preparing another chapter in the history of Cloven Hoof. What's going on right now?
Oh yeah, so this is going to be quite exciting as well. We've got we're in the studio on the 12th to do the final mix on a song called I'm Your Nemesis, which is a brand new studio track. We're doing it at the Old Smithy, which is where Judas Priest did their last 2 albums. So it should turn out really, really well. The guitars and everything sounded really, really great at the moment, and I can't wait to finish that off. And then on the 27th of September, we make our first sort of big budget video, which should turn out really, really well, judging by the storyboards and everything. It's going to be quite elaborate, and it's made as a promo video, that will get on all the TV stations. So that should be really exciting. And the new album's all kind of written, and we're rehearsing it at the moment, so we can go out on tour next year. And it would be really fantastic to the Sweden Rock next year. I mean, I'm talking to promoters, but obviously, if everybody sort of writes in and stuff, let's make this happen. It'll be fantastic, because the Scandinavian countries have just been sort of magnificent supporters of Cloven Hoof, and we can't wait to play for them.
So the current lineup, is that the same as the Eye of the Sun lineup, or is it a brand new lineup?
No, it's going to be a brand new lineup. You can be the very first. You get the total exclusive on this one. What we were going to do, we're going to sort of release all the band members kind of separately to kind of build up to round about December. But what the hell, for Metal Express and for you, I'll explain a little bit about the whole band if you like.
Yes, please.
We got a fantastic new guitarist called Joe Whelan. and he just shreds like a demon, and he runs about like a crazy man. He's proper guitar hero. And it's taken the longest to find him, really. I've been looking for him for about 10 months. And but we finally got the right people, because this time round, we want people who are going to be committed for 3 years, and really, so Cloven Hoof can start really building now. We've got on the drums, it's Mark Gould. And I've been after Mark for quite a long time, but he's always had commitments that he had to sort of honour. But as soon as he's out of all these contracts and stuff, he's now joined us. He's like a cross between John Bonham and sort of Neil Peart kind of thing. So he's a hell of a good drummer and very, very powerful. And then we got the big thing that everybody wants to know is who's going to be the singer, and he's the most. Well, I think he's the most talented singer I think we've ever come across. The guy's name's Ash Cooper, and he's 23, but he's got a voice that could strip wallpaper. He's very, very, very powerful, and he's going to be quite a find. Because basically the only thing, like with Russ, which everybody wants to know, is he hasn't been sort of that sort of well for quite a long time. So, and he said to me, well, he sort of worked with me up until a few months ago, and he said, I don't think I'm going to be able to commit for the next 3 years. So, it doesn't mean that he won't be joining us up on stage at some festivals and stuff, but he just feels that because of his sort of health problems, he won't be able to sort of commit for the 3 years. So, that's why we've had to, fill the vocalist vacancy.
I see.
But it's ever onward and upward, isn't it? Really, and you've got to bring out the best possible lineup for the band and for all the fans. And I think we've got one hell of a good lineup, and we're really looking forward to sort of hitting all the stages next year.
Great. So the new album, is that another concept album?
It isn't a concept album, although there is the one after this will be. I'm kind of writing for that as well.
Okay.
I know we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's why we needed long-term commitment, because there's a lot of material ready to come out, which is good for the fans. But the next album, I think it's probably going to be our heaviest yet. It's still got all the sort of classic sort of multi-time changes and epic sound there, but it's a little bit sort of where Sultan's Ransom left off, and we're sort of taking it to the next stage. It's quite a broad spectrum, but it's very, very dark and very, very heavy. So the fans can expect our most powerful album ever, I think, the next one, and they'll be able to get to see the video of one of the songs pretty soon.
All right, can't wait.
Yeah, it's very exciting times. We can't wait, and basically we're sort of 2 albums ahead of ourselves already. So the fans won't have to wait so long in between the albums anymore. We're going to bring out a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of exciting times for Cloven Hoof fans ahead.